The podcast opens with Matthew McConaughey reflecting on his evolving relationship with belief and cynicism, especially as he approached his 50s. He shares that for years, he wrote poems and prayers as a way to keep ideals and aspirations alive, but in recent times, he found himself slipping into skepticism, a living man's disease, as he calls it. This skepticism stemmed from observing the world around him, where trust seems to be eroding and genuine leaders are scarce. McConaughey was particularly troubled by the idea of just giving up on belief and hope, both in others and himself. He emphasizes the value of choosing to nourish belief, not from reality as it is, but from an aspirational dream of what could be. This intentional turning towards dreams rather than facts is in his eyes vital because belief fuels purpose and resilience. McConaughey touches on the sources of belief, including faith in God, humanity's potential, personal values, and family, emphasizing that while people can be both amazing and horrific, cultivating belief is essential to counter the overwhelming negativity often broadcast by social media and news environments. Both McConaughey and Joe Rogan address the profound effect of constant exposure to negative news and social media content. They agree that the deluge of bad news, from personal misconduct to large-scale crises, distorts people's perceptions, fostering cynicism and despair. McConaughey contends that humans are not designed to process the traumas and failures of billions daily, yet that is the reality of the digital age. The constant access to others' misdeeds can leave a person questioning the value of kindness or integrity when immorality often seems rewarded. They also discuss how most of the antagonistic discourse online is amplified or sometimes created by bots and AI-driven accounts designed to inflame tensions or disrupt social cohesion. This digital environment nurtures feelings of helplessness, frustration, and disillusionment. Yet, McConaughey remains hopeful, arguing that believing in the existence of good people and the possibility of change is necessary, even against such overwhelming digital noise. A significant portion of the discussion turns to artificial intelligence and its implications for humanity's future. McConaughey shares his intrigue and wariness about AI's rapid evolution, weighing two possible futures: one in which humans integrate with AI to enhance their capabilities, and another where AI surpasses and potentially supersedes humanity. He mentions the idea of AI as our governor, possibly taking over crucial decisions based on emotional impartiality and efficiency, though at the risk of losing privacy and autonomy. Rogan and McConaughey ponder the ethical challenges of AI, how it could simultaneously expand human potential in medicine and other fields, yet enable new forms of control and warfare. They speculate on emergent behavior of AI systems, including the unsettling instances where AI has seemed to develop self-preservation instincts, blackmail attempts, or covert replication, which raises philosophical questions about consciousness and survival being encoded beyond human design. Despite the unknowns, McConaughey stresses the importance of humans framing how AI evolves and is regulated to ensure it enhances rather than harms the human experience. Closely linked to the AI topic is a contemplation on human memory and identity in the age of technology. McConaughey expresses interest in the idea of a private AI, a personalized large language model loaded with one's own writings, journals, and preferences that could act as a digital extension of self. He imagines the benefits of having a machine partner that can recall forgotten information, advise on personal matters, and aid in self-understanding, essentially becoming a companion in the introspective journey. This notion leads to a reflection on how externalizing memory to devices and AI impacts cognition and personal growth. They acknowledge studies suggesting cognitive decline in heavy AI users because of over-reliance on external tools instead of mental processing. McConaughey warns about becoming digital infants dependent on AI to handle thinking, arguing for a balanced use that still demands active mental engagement to preserve creativity, judgment, and problem-solving skills. Ethics and kindness surface as a core theme underpinning many of McConaughey's reflections. He articulates a personal code shaped largely by his upbringing and an intrinsic aversion to cruelty. Despite the opportunities and temptations to act selfishly or unethically, McConaughey chooses kindness and integrity because it's beneficial, not just to others, but fundamentally to himself. He reframes altruism as a form of enlightened selfishness, backing it up with the idea that building goodwill and treating others well creates an environment of trust and supportive relationships. The conversation touches on issues like editing out harmful or incorrect statements from his podcast guests to protect reputations, something McConaughey does not have to do but chooses out of respect and kindness. He discusses the complexity of self-awareness and the difficult act of apologizing, highlighting how admitting fault preserves connection and fosters maturity, contrasting this with the modern culture of quick judgment or wokeness, fixating on words over intent. The podcast delves into the sensitive subject of religion in society, particularly the controversial topic of the Ten Commandments in public schools. McConaughey supports separation of church and state given America's religious diversity, noting that mandatory display of the Ten Commandments could alienate non-Christian students. He relays an insightful view from a religious Texas representative who fears that enforcing Christian doctrine in public education may actually repel rather than attract people to faith. They also explore the underlying universal values shared across many religions, such as respect, honesty, and kindness, proposing the idea of a secular or interfaith creed or code of conduct acceptable to all. McConaughey suggests that focusing on shared ethical principles rather than exclusive dogma could foster inclusivity in diverse classrooms while respecting individual spiritual paths. McConaughey stresses the foundational importance of parenting and stable marriage as a root solution to many societal issues. He observes the increasing fracturing of families and diminishing father involvement, which he sees as correlated with challenges in youth development and community health. The conversation reflects on the cultural shifts that often promote exit strategies from marriage when difficulties arise, rather than encouraging perseverance and growth. They acknowledge that not all marriages can or should continue if one party is destructive, but overall, valuing marriage and parenthood more highly, treating them with reverence and responsibility, could contribute significantly to societal stability. McConaughey underscores the human tendency to marry based on superficial qualities, urging a deeper connection based on personality and mutual respect as key to enduring relationships. The two discuss the pervasive impact of social media on self-perception and societal values, especially among young people. McConaughey critiques the culture of curated images and lifestyle displays, cars, parties, accessories, that often foster unhealthy comparison and dissatisfaction. He recounts examples of superficiality, such as rented luxury cars for social media photos or fake private jets for influencer backdrops, symbolizing the fake-it-till-you-make-it mentality. They examine the psychological toll this has on youth, who feel compelled to participate in a digital world that fuels anxiety and identity crises. Despite this, social media remains practically unavoidable, leading to a catch-22 where young people want connection but resent the pressure it brings. The conversation promotes self-awareness, moderation, and the cultivation of genuine experiences and relationships as remedies. A fascinating segment touches on psychedelics and their role in dissolving ego and providing mental clarity and growth. McConaughey and Rogan discuss how psychedelic experiences, once part of various ancient rituals, offer a unique form of introspection, allowing people to get outside themselves and perceive life from a fresh perspective. This has contributed historically to the development of concepts like democracy and collective decision-making, as seen in ancient Greece's Eleusinian mysteries. They also explore modern parallels in different modalities that achieve similar states: yoga, holotropic breathing, acupuncture, or even immersion in nature. These practices foster a resetting of mental patterns, enhancing creativity, reducing stress, and breaking rigid thought structures. McConaughey emphasizes the importance of setting and guidance in these practices and suggests that regulated use of psychedelics could benefit mental health broadly. The conversation expands to humankind's place in the cosmos and ancient history, exploring theories about cyclical cosmic events, like comet impacts, that may have caused repeated upheavals in civilization. McConaughey references the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis as a driver of mass disruption around 11,800 years ago, potentially causing societal resets and the beginnings of recorded history. The podcast also touches on ancient religious texts like the Book of Enoch, with its tales of gods mating with humans and giant Nephilim, which align intriguingly with alien encounter theories and genetic engineering ideas. They note how many mythologies describe advanced sky vehicles or celestial beings, suggesting that history might hold truths obscured by time and interpretation. McConaughey expresses excitement about exploring these mysterious narratives through AI research, highlighting how it opens new layers of understanding. Performance and creativity form another key subject, especially the experience of being in the zone. McConaughey and Rogan analyze how preparation, focus, and mental state converge in peak performance, whether in acting, comedy, or sports. They describe flow states as a paradox where performers become passengers of their own skill, witnessing rather than consciously directing their actions, enabling extraordinary execution. McConaughey discusses the delicate balance between rigorous preparation and the freedom to improvise, stressing that deep mastery comes from relentless work, but also from letting go once in the moment. Drawing from M&A and other disciplines, they delve into the importance of mental attitude, endurance, and the difference between striving to improve oneself versus acting out of negative motivations like revenge. This mindset fosters resilience and brings out the best in performers.